What's good, yo? Your boy Mike says, Speak Ya Clout Podcast. We live every Saturday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with my brother from by the ways of Northern Ireland, Vod Crack in the house.
Yeah, what's up, everyone?
Hell yeah, today is a very, very special episode for us. I knew Ross going on 7 years now, and in the PlayStation parties on PS4, we'll chop it up about this album. Like, we can make our own podcast based off of that if we hit record. And, you know what I'm saying? Like, all the time. And it never gets boring. We're talking about San Francisco, California Rockers, man. Faith No More, Angel Dust. Just turned 30 years last week.
Mm-hmm.
And, oh, my God. This album been in my life since childhood. On the Top 10 Faith No More Songs episode, I explained how I got into them. You know, my uncle was a big fan. Seeing Epic on MTV all the time. That Brixton Academy show, the You Fat Bastards.
Yep.
I was a big Bill and Ted fan. I had the action figures. I drove my mother crazy with that shit. She hated it, but Mike Patton would dress like them. You know what I'm saying? And I loved Bill and Ted, so I took a liking to Mike Patton because of that. And fucking after that, my uncle had Angel Dust on cassette, along with like all the classic 92 albums, and he played that nonstop. And I used to look at the image of that swan, and I thought it was a beautiful image, you know, which goes with the title, because Roddy Bottom wants to call it Angel Dust, and like a beautiful. How could a fucked up drug have a beautiful name? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But, so the album art is the heron bird, and then on the back it has like the meat hanging.
Yeah, the cow and shit.
Yeah,
crazy.
Very cool.
Yeah, but Angel Dust been in my life. Jesus, I got this tape in like 96, probably somewhere around there. And got Real Thing at around the same time. King for a Day was like only a year old when I got that. So yeah, big Faith No More fan. Mike Patton is in my top 10, probably top 5 vocalists of all time. So yeah, how did Angel Dust enter your life, Ross?
Well, I was just going to ask you, which one did you hear first, The Real Thing or Angel Dust?
I heard The Real Thing first.
Yeah, for me, a lot. Like the main thing that I got into Faith No More with was a compilation that came out in like the mid 2000s. It was called like the Platinum Collection or something, just really generic like that. But it's a really good compilation as far as like it has most of their kind of big hit singles and all that kind of thing. And I remember just getting that for cheap. Just because of the strength, I really liked a few of their songs. And then the first album that I actually bought was Angel Dust. And yeah, I always loved it. But I wish in hindsight I listened to The Real Thing first and then Angel Dust. I think it's a bit harder going from Angel Dust to The Real Thing. Because Angel Dust is just such a crazy, varied, just such a unique album. The Real Thing in comparison is a lot more straightforward. It's still a great album, don't get me wrong, but like Angel Dust is just on another level. So yeah,
song for everybody on Angel Dust, really. You know, and Mike Patton had a chance to write because he came in the band when the album was already done, like lyrically The Real Thing. You know, just fresh off Chuck Mosley leaving and stuff like that, which I'm not a fan of that era. I keep it 1,000.
Yeah, I'm the same as you. Like I like We Care a Lot, the song. And a couple of other tracks here and there. Like I like the musically there's a lot of good stuff on there, some good riffs.
Some heavy shit from Jim.
Yeah, definitely. Like the Crab song. That's great. Yeah, there are definitely some good moments, but I'm the same as you. Not a big Chuck Mosley fan. But rest in peace to Chuck Mosley,
you know. R.I.P. Chuck Mosley for sure. Angel Dust, man. Oh, they were at the top of their game on this era. They were, the Metallica and Guns N' Roses tour they was on.
Which was, kind of controversial. There was a lot of tensions going on.
Roddy's like, I like Roddy. He's like, he's coming to see this guy with his red hair and his group of clowns. Like, you to see us. right on MTV, no fucks given. You know?
Oh yeah. Like they never played the media game straight.
Yeah.
Especially, I'm sure anyone listening to this knows, the infamous like making of Angel Dust. Of the interviews of them all. Mike Patton's interview in particular is very infamous. He's pretty much just trolling for like an hour and a half or whatever. It's a crazy long interview. And like these guys were always like pushing the boundaries. Like they never played it safe. Just like, anytime they could, do something a little bit off the wall and different. Like even as we'll get on to, when they covered Easy, they did that because they were bored of covering War Pigs from the previous album, I always loved that about them, the fact that they were always like unpredictable and just didn't care. They were on a major label and everything, but just didn't care. Just did whatever they wanted.
The worst thing about music is people play it.
I watched that whole thing this week. I had it on the background while I was working.
Oh hell
yeah. Amazing stuff right there. I wish, in hindsight, I wish we had stuff like that for like King for a Day and stuff like that too.
I was thinking about that.
Only Angel Dust, had that full kind of access, and you saw them, working on RV and Caffeine and stuff like that too in the video.
Produced by Matt Wallace.
Matt Wallace, who had been their producer, I think, all the way up until that point. Yeah, that was kind of their sort of main producer. And there's a fun part when Billy starts strangling him. That was pretty wild. Yeah. Definitely a lot of tensions going into this album. Like
you can tell.
Coming off. Yeah, because coming off The Real Thing, like The Real Thing was a massive album. That blew them up. Epic, like you said, was everywhere in 1990. MTV picked it up. All the other music channels picked it up. And, of course, after such big success, everyone's waiting for like, not necessarily The Real Thing too, but you know what I mean? Like something along those lines, kind of, something of that ilk. And of course Angel Dust is just not that at all. And I love them for it, you know what I mean? Tensions within the band, like they toured their asses off for The Real Thing. Like they were playing shows up until 1991. And worth mentioning, like in 91 they started playing a couple of tracks off Angel Dust. They were playing RV, I think Caffeine, and they also played The World Is Yours, which ended up not being on the album. But tensions within the band. Jim Martin, this would be his last album with the band, unfortunately. Always been a big just love his guitar sound, you know what I mean? He just has that classic metal sound. It's like the perfect sort of contrast to like these beautiful like melodies that Roddy Bottum does on the keyboards. And there are moments on this album that are so like lovely, but then you've got these like crunchy metal riffs from Jim Martin, and it's just wonderful. Unfortunately, the rest of the band did not like him really at this point. In the interviews, they all kind of take little kind of slide remarks about him not really being involved and stuff like that. And, pretty wild, but definitely have to mention that because Jim Martin definitely missed, even though like I love the albums that they did after this. Like something was missing after Jim left.
Absolutely.
And I think some of the best art comes from like when there's tension within a band. It probably sucks for them, but the end result, us listening to it, I love it.
Martin's like, Roddy wants to call it Angel Dust. I don't know why he wants to call it Angel Dust. It's called Angel Dust, and nothing to do with me. Something like that he says.
And he says stuff like, they don't really leave a lot of room for me, so I just have to kind of find guitar parts that go along with all this crazy stuff. So he did a great job though.
Excellent job. He's my favorite member really besides Mike.
I mean, they're such a good band. Like every member is like a top of their game. Mm-hmm.
Every musician is incredible. It's so fucking good.
Yeah, Mike Borden's one of my favorite drummers.
Absolutely. Billy Gold, oh my God.
He's a monster on the bass, yeah.
Yes, dude is incredible.
And I always view him as like the mastermind of Faith No More.
He's been there since day one.
Yep.
All right, let's get into Angel Dust by Faith No More, 1992. 30 years celebration right here. Album starts off with Land of the Sunshine. I love Billy Gold's bass line at the beginning, and his bass playing throughout the song is incredible. Mike Patton did a sleep deprivation experiment around this time, and he watched late night televangelists during his sleep deprivation. And those televangelists is all full of shit. I used to watch the shit at night, and it was hilarious. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He also got some of the lyrics from Fortune Cookies. I love that, that sing and rejoice. Sing and rejoice. I love that part of the song as well. Mike Patton's vocals on Land of the Sunshine is excellent. What a great way to start the album. Incredible. Love Land of the Sunshine.
Yeah, I love the song too. As I was saying earlier, this album is very different from The Real Thing, but this is, I would say, this is perfect way to put the start off the album, because I feel like it's the only song that slightly resembles The Real Thing, because it definitely has that kind of funk element.
Yeah.
With The Real Thing, they were pigeonholed into being like quote unquote funk metal, and they obviously tried their best to get away from that as far as they could on this album. But I think Land of Sunshine is like the only song where I'm like, yeah, I would say that this is kind of funk metal-ish. It's definitely and I think that works well as the first track, because it sort of you listen to it and you're like, I guess it's it's like Faith No More, but it's clearly different, because this song is like kind of demented and like twisted, has some crazy kind of breakdowns, definitely has a slightly kind of psychotic feel to it, even though it's quite a bouncy song, you know what I mean? It's definitely very catchy, definitely single material in my opinion. It wasn't a single, but definitely, I could definitely picture it as one. And I really enjoy this track overall. It's just such a great track, like I said, kind of bouncy, kind of like a banger way to kick off the album. But yeah, it has enough darkness and sort of bits in there to make you go, that's a bit strange, but I love that about it. Yeah, it's definitely a great track.
Like you said, that it could have been a single. I thought about that about quite a few songs on here I'll mention later on.
Oh yeah, definitely, because this album is just chock full of great songs, so yeah, for sure.
Then you go straight to Caffeine. Such a great riff from Jim Martin on here. Thunderous drumming from Mike Borden as well. Mike Patton's vocals are gritty on here. He wrote this around the same time he did Land of the Sunshine, so he was going through the sleep deprivation around this time as well during this. And he was drinking coffee, hence the title. You know what I'm saying? Love how heavy this song gets towards the end too. Incredible, like the middle. Incredible.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite tracks for me.
Yeah, likewise.
Yeah, very very heavy, very aggressive. Love the way it kicks off, like the weird like animal sounds in the background. I don't know what that is. But yeah, then it just kicks in with the main riff. So
fucking good.
Like there's just some like I would never really call Faith No More like metal per se, but like when they do metal, like it's it's tough, it's just sounds so great. Love like Mike Patton's lyrics, like he even says himself, like he's not like, he always picks words based on how they sound rather than what they mean. But, I like that, there's some really interesting lines in this song. I love when he says, forget the glamour and mumble a jackhammer under your breath. You know what I mean? It's just like really interesting sort of vocal lyrics in there. And fantastic performance from all members of the band. And I love that sort of crazy kind of part towards the end, I'm warning you. And then, he actually drops an F-bomb in there. I'm fucking you. I love that. No one screams better from Mike Patton.
He's incredible. The man of 1,000 voices, bro. Straight the fuck up.
I mean, just the fact that, like, he can still do that stuff now in his 50s is just unbelievable. And, the guy, was crazy back then. He did backflips on stage and everything.
Yeah.
He's just,
kind of like, Henry Rollins, Phil Anselmo, those frontmen that don't have to be bound by a guitar, so they can do whatever the fuck they want. And the way Mike like holds the mic, he kneels down and shit.
Yes,
incredible stage presence.
Absolutely. There's that amazing performance of this song on Hanging with MTV that most of you guys probably know. Incredible stuff. Yeah, Caffeine. Definitely one of my favorites on the album. Definitely, one of the harder tracks on the album for sure. And yeah, love it. Just very dark as well. Very, very, very dark.
It's dark. It's like a great follow up to Land of the Sunshine. Then we get big single, Midlife Crisis. An amazing single from the album. Mike Gordon's drumming in the beginning of the song is great. Always love that. This song influenced a lot. Bands coming after, some good, some not. But Mike Patton said he got influenced by, seeing Madonna on TV. He said he was bombarded with her image on magazines. He thought she was being a bit desperate. Madonna was about, 34 at the time. She put that sex book out that my homie had. My boy Adam had that. Shit's wild.
Yeah, that came out around the same time as this, yeah.
92. Yeah. Like also said, it's about, creating false emotion. Absolutely love everything about this song. That sense of security, pockets jingling, fucking love that. Incredible song and a fantastic choice for a single, man. Incredible. I love Midlife Crisis. The video is amazing. Never get sick of Midlife Crisis. Unfortunately, whack ass, FM radio when I was coming up, I only hit Epic. I never heard Midlife Crisis at all. Never.
Yeah, that's crazy. This is probably, as far as like their own songs, I would say this is probably their second biggest song ever, behind Epic. I know, Easy, I think probably is like up there as well. But as far as like their own stuff that they wrote, Midlife Crisis is definitely up there. I first heard it on GTA San Andreas, but yep, Radio X. But when we did the top 10 Faith No More songs, this was my number one. So absolutely adore this song. Love everything about it. Love the samples in there. You even got a little bit of Beastie Boys in there. Car Thief sample. That that's great. I love the verses from Mike Patton. He does those kind of strange, kind of like growled vocals. Again, having that for like the lead single of your album, crazy, having those kind of vocals. But of course, like, when he starts singing, it's very melodic and, just fantastic to listen to. I love the drumming on here from Mike Borden as always. Some amazing synths on here. The way, it kind of builds slowly as this, the verses go on, build into a big crescendo when the chorus kicks off. It's so good. It's absolutely incredible.
Amazing.
I can't really say much more about it than that. Words can't do it justice. It's my favorite song that they ever did, and that's saying something because they're amazing and one of my favorite bands of all time. So
absolutely,
I love that video too. It's such a great video. Pretty crazy with the horse quartering scene towards the end. Great video. Such an amazing track.
Oh yeah, Midlife Crisis is a fucking banger for sure.
And it was as they were coming up with the songs, they all had sort of nicknames because they hadn't this come up with their proper titles yet, and it was called Madonna. So yeah,
that's crazy.
The only thing I don't like the single cover for Midlife Crisis. The only thing I don't like.
Is it like little kids on it? Am I bugging? Is that something else?
No, it's their faces like photoshopped onto like army.
Oh, the Soviets, right?
Yeah, the Soviets. Yeah.
Thinking about another single, but yeah, amazing song. I can't go wrong with Midlife Crisis at all. Now we get RV, man, incredible keyboard playing from Roddy on here. Mike says this is written about white trash America. Said picture of fat guy sitting in a trailer eating horrible food, watching horrible TV, maybe beating his kids and abusing his wife. I love when it gets heavy during the chorus. For the most part, it's pretty mellow, but love this song. Something strange as well. You know what I'm saying? After coming up the real thing, you have something like this, but I love it. I love RV.
Yeah, I mean, they weren't afraid to do something different, and RV is a perfect example of that. At this point, they were seen as like an alternative stroke funk stroke sort of rock metal band, and here they are doing like a country and western song basically. And
the chorus too,
I hate you talking to myself. Yeah, great song. Like really, awesome piano playing from Roddy Bottom. Really, very nice. And Mike Patton's kind of delivery in the song is, it's pretty funny. It's tongue in cheek.
Yeah.
He sort of has that delivery where he's kind of like mumbling to himself. Yeah, married a scarecrow. It's just wild kind of lyrics, and yeah, the chorus kind of has that kind of singing when you're drunk kind of vibe to it.
Definitely.
Yeah, really fun song. It's sort of fun to hear, Mike Patton sort of taking on these sort of strange characters in his songs for sure. And yeah, it's as far as songs compared to the rest of the album, it's probably like not one of my go-tos, but I still love it. You know what I mean?
Likewise, brother.
But it definitely serves its purpose on the album, and it's like a great sort of break between Midlife Crisis and the next song. Sort of does a great job of kind of keeping things fresh. So yeah, no, I really like RV for sure.
Yeah, speaking of like go-tos, brother, I got next is Smaller and Smaller. One of my go-tos. One of the heaviest songs on the album. One of Mike's amazing vocal performances. I love when he shouts "bite," Love Billy's bass playing around the 2:14-minute mark. Around that same time, we get some like Indian chanting. Jamon's solo was exceptional here, like killer song for sure. Like I said earlier at the top of the show, the musicianship of this band is next level. Billy said the band never really got attached to the song as the others, which is a shame because I love Smaller and Smaller. It's so fucking good, heavy as shit too. Love it.
Yeah, it's definitely not compared to most of the other songs in the album. I know this one didn't get played live as much for sure. Yeah. But yeah, no, I always liked it. It's definitely one of the it's again like Caffeine. It's definitely one of the harder, like more straight up kind of rock metal songs on the album. Very dark, very moody throughout, and yeah, it's a great track. Pretty unpleasant. A great sort of way to follow up RV, which was pretty pleasant. To the ear, this is definitely a lot more harsh, a lot more kind of menacing kind of sound to it. And yeah, really like again Mike Patton's performance on here. He sounds pretty demented on this song. And yeah, everyone else does a fantastic job as well. You know what I mean? Like you said, Billy on the bass, he sounds fantastic on here. And yeah, everyone definitely plays their part. It's just again like a real kind of moody, kind of slow, kind of dark song for sure. Yeah, I mean, again, if I was written all this, comparing this song to like all the others, this probably would be low on my list for sure. But like, I still love it. Yeah. I mean, I definitely prefer like something like Caffeine over this, and like some of the other kind of more kind of darker, sort of hard hitting metal tracks later on. But it's still no knock against Smaller and Smaller. Maybe for me, it's a little bit repetitious, you know what I mean? Just, it keeps on coming back to the smaller and smaller. But I think that's, a part of the song too. Like, I think that's deliberate, you know what I mean? I think, it makes sense for them to kind of repeat that over and over again. It's, it just kind of fits the overall vibe of the song. It definitely has a bit of craziness to it, but sure. Yes, Smaller and Smaller is still fantastic. Don't get me wrong.
Hell yeah, brother. Now we get another single. I fucking adore this song. Everything's Ruined. Roddy's keyboard playing in the beginning, I love that. Followed by Billy's lick on the bass was a great way to start the song. This is some of my favorite vocals Mike has ever laid on a track. Just the way he sings on the verses and just lets it rip on the chorus is so good. A penny won't do, no. The song is about greed in the Soviet Union. I absolutely love Jim Martin's guitar solo around the 3:34-minute mark as well. One of my all-time favorites on the album. I fucking love this song. The video is real tongue-in-cheek as well. Funny as fuck. But yeah. Ruined is a masterpiece of a song. Absolutely.
Yeah, I always heard that the story behind the video was that they blew their video budget on A Small Victory video, which of course is like really kind of glossy and very expensive.
Like a fucking movie.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, after that, I guess they didn't have much money. So yeah, with Everything's Ruined, it's just them in front of a green screen, and yeah, very funny. Just a bunch of silly images in the background, and they're kind of reacting to it, and like. running away from stuff, and
it's so funny.
It is. It's great. It's really, really good. And the song itself is one of my favorites on the album for sure. I love this song, even though it's like kind of it's not. I wouldn't say it's a sad song, but it's not a happy song. You know what I mean? But the actual music behind it to me sounds quite happy. You know what I mean? Sort of interesting. Maybe that's just my interpretation of it. But I musically, I think this is like kind of like a triumphant kind of sounding song. But lyrically, it's not really. Even the title of the song says it all. Everything's ruined, and I love when he sings that. It's the outro. Now everything's ruined. Yeah, incredible. It's such a good song. It definitely like has it's kind of quieter moments, and then it builds in with the guitars coming in. When the pre-chorus pops in. It's just such a great song, and like you said, one of my favorite. I would agree with you. This is probably one of my favorite Mike Patton performances as well. Just he sounds so good on this song, and it's absolutely amazing. Absolutely, I have nothing else to say about
it. Shout out to Mike's Reese's Peanut Butter Cup shirt, though.
Yeah.
Now we get Malpractice. Man, absolutely love this track. It's so fucking heavy. The riffs on here from Jim Martin are face melting, man. Mike said it was a tribute to the band Godflesh. I love Roddy's keyboard playing on here as well. The song even gets soft in the middle, only to go back to being heavy as fuck again. Like, Malpractice is so fucking hard. I love it. I love when Mike screams, applause, applause.
Yeah.
One of the heaviest Fifth No More songs there is ever. I worship Malpractice. It's so fucking good. So heavy.
Yeah, like again, this is one of my favorite songs in the album.
Likewise.
It's so good. The song. This was actually the first song Mike Patton wrote like himself for Faith No More.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and during that Making of Angel Dust video, that it's him kind of playing the bass. I think showing Jim Martin kind of explaining what the song's kind of like. Really, really fantastic song. Love how he kind of demented and twisted the song sounds. You got that kind of main sort of march at the start, down, 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 ticka, ticka, down, 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 and then it goes all crazy, down, 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 and Mike Patton's vocals are real kind of screamy, kind of guttural on this track, and then like you said, it sort of goes even more nuts, and then towards the end, kind of lulls you into this false sense of security, sort of nice kind of piano playing from Roddy, some sort of nice kind of soothing kind of backing vocals, and then all of a sudden it's over, dun, 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 it kicks back into it again, and I love the samples that they use on here over the top as well. Has like a real kind of bombastic sort of theatrical kind of feel to it. It's like it's like definitely like theatrical, but like very macabre at the same time. It's very dark, and I love this song. I think it's absolutely incredible. And they didn't perform this song live on the Angel Dust tour.
Damn.
But when Mike Patton worked with the Dillinger Escape Plan in the early 2000s, they did an EP together. They performed it live then, and then I think they did a snippet of it when they reformed. I don't think they ever played the full song, but they played a bit of it when they reformed. But I love Malpractice. I think it's incredible.
I can imagine the pitch getting pretty violent if they did do it. You know what I'm saying? Because that's a fucking heater right there. I love that song.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's the case anyway.
Yeah. Now, speaking of, like we said, songs that should have been singles, I got Kindergarten. That should have been a single.
Definitely. Yeah, I can picture it too with like a video. Yeah.
Sure. This is why Jim Martin is one of my favorite guitarists of all time. I love that opening riff. It's incredible. Mike Patton's vocals on here too are so good. Love that chorus. Songs about what it would be like to mentally be stuck in the past. Also questions, will he ever mature, Will I graduate and all that shit?
Yep.
Billy and Mike Gordon's rhythm section is incredible. You know, absolutely love that. That Born Late, Will I Graduate? Fire. Amazing song. This definitely could have been a single, like I said earlier. It's so fucking good. I love that riff from Jim as well. Yeah, it's just incredible. I play this shit all the time. Kindergarten. Crazy song. Good song.
Yeah, it is really good. I love it. Again, it has that definitely an element of like humor. There's definitely a lot of humor in Fifth No More's music.
Yeah, definitely.
The swings on the playground don't even fit me anymore. Folklore, it's very tongue in cheek, but at the same time, like, yeah, there are plenty of people that can't let their childhoods behind and stuff like that. And obviously your childhood's very important, but at the same time, you can't let that dominate you too much. For sure. My favorite part of the song is Billy's bass solo. Love that.
Yeah,
towards the end, incredible. Really good. Yeah. But yeah, awesome song. Write it 100 times. Yeah, it's so good. It's incredible song, and I agree with you. It definitely could have been a single for sure.
Yes,
and it's definitely like coming off Malpractice. This is definitely a pretty smooth kind of, definitely more kind of laid back track for sure. Definitely what you needed after Malpractice. So yeah, really good. Like the sequencing in this album is phenomenal.
It's incredible.
Yeah,
absolutely. It's oh god. The greatest records of all time. Next, we got Be Aggressive. I love Roddy's eerie piano playing on here in the beginning. Speaking of Roddy, he wrote this song basically about blowjobs. Roddy being a gay man, it's going to be funny to have, Mike sing those lyrics, with Mike being straight and all. Love that cheerleading vocals in the chorus. That be aggressive. Be aggressive. Love that shit. But I swallow. Yeah, it's a great song. I love Be Aggressive. Talk about tongue in cheek. They're all about that shit.
Oh yeah, I mean they never took themselves that seriously. I love that about them because some bands definitely do take themselves too seriously.
Absolutely.
For sure. And just very fun. Like it's definitely like a fun track. It's just the fact that Roddy's writing these lyrics and Mike's just like, yeah, whatever, fuck it, I'll sing it. It doesn't faze him. It's and musically the song's great. Love the intro when it kicks in, like real kind of like pretty danceable, really. You know what I mean? It's a real kind of hype track for sure. And very very catchy chorus. It always like when Marilyn Manson did that song Mob Scene years later, I always like in hindsight I always thought, wow, he took that from Faith No More. Getting the cheerleaders and saying that. Yes, yeah. It was like be obscene, be something like that. And I'm like, wow, you bit that from Faith No More, definitely.
Fucking asshole.
Yeah. So no, Be Aggressive is great. Such a great song. You're my flavor of the week. It's just, so great track. Very, a lot of fun.
Absolutely, brother. Now, man, A Small Victory. My favorite song on the whole album, and my second favorite song of all time, behind Black Sabbath, is Spiral Architect. I fucking worship this song. This is honestly my favorite vocal performance I heard in all of rock music, probably. Yeah, number one, probably. Just the way Mike sings on A Small Victory is absolutely incredible. That a hierarchy spread out on the nightstand. When he sings that, it gets me every fucking time.
Mm-hmm.
I have played this song 5 times in a row one time. Like straight up, just on loop. The song's about winning. Mike Patton's dad was a coach, so he always grew up, wanting to win. And he found out you can't always win all the time. I worship everything about this song. It's incredible. It doesn't bother me, no. But it does,
That hits me. That's so relatable.
Likewise.
Yeah.
A Small Victory. Yeah, number 2 for me. First song of all time within any genre. And my favorite vocal performance in rock music history. Yeah, it is. I'm thinking right now, because the other ones that I worship, but yeah, Mike has that. Hands fucking down. I worship A Small Victory, man. You know how much I like it. I've been telling you for 7 years.
Yeah, well, I mean, I love it too, of course. Incredible, second single off the album. Love the keyboards on here. So beautiful. How they kicked in the down, 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 down. This song was codenamed Japanese, I think, when they were working on it. Definitely has that kind of Asian feel to it for sure.
Yeah.
And it's just such a great track. The lyrics, again, kind of tongue in cheek. Like, it's not like a big kind of like heavy subject matter, but like, I don't really care about winning, but that part, during the chorus, it shouldn't bother me. No, like, you can apply that to so many different situations, and I love that. It's very relatable, and it's such an amazing track all the way through. Some really kind of driving bass from Billy on here. It's such a great track. Really good guitar work from Jim Martin on here. Just it's a fantastic song. It's a perfect song. Really,
it is.
Can't knock it whatsoever. And like you said, Mike Patton's vocals on here are just pitch perfect. I've got nothing really bad to say about it whatsoever. I love the outro too. If I speak at one constant volume, at one constant pitch, at one constant rhythm, right into your ear, you still won't hear.
Oh my God, so fucking good.
It's incredible. It really is. It's fabulous. And we mentioned the video as well. Like, very,
I love the video.
Very, very, glossy. I know, like, I think, a few years later, I think Mike Patton kind of clowned on it a little bit. It makes it look like they're in like a perfume commercial or something. He said, it's pretty funny.
He's a funny fucker.
He is, yeah. But what can we say about a small victory? Really, it's one of those ones. Words can't do it justice.
No, it's beyond good. So good.
Yep.
Oh yeah, I had fun breaking that one down. Now we get Crack Hitler. I love the weird guitar lick from Jim Martin at the beginning. Billy's bass line is great too. Mike Gordon's drum kicking great as well. Real funky groove to this. It's about a drug dealer they knew who dealt crack, and he compared himself to Hitler, but he was a black guy. He's a black dude. The song gets very heavy as well. That bass playing is incredible throughout. It's a funky number, man, I think, a little bit. Yeah, I fuck with Crack Hitler for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I agree with you. It definitely has like a slight element of funk in it. It's almost like demented disco music. That's how I would describe it, just something about this song. Like, you've got like kind of like almost kind of like psychedelic guitars, and then matched up with these, kind of like synths that are kind of like haunting. You know what I mean? It's like a weird mixture of stuff, but it really works. And lyrically pretty out there, pretty strange. Mike Patton's vocals are kind of done. It sounds like he's talking through like a speaker or something. This song,
like a megaphone effect type of deal.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, it's not. I love this song. It's not one of my ultimate favorites, but
likewise.
Yeah, it's still great. I still really enjoyed it. It's again kind of wild. It's definitely a wild track. It's kind of bewildering to listen to, but it's good fun. And again, the lyrics are that sort of right level of like strange, but at the same time not you can't take them too seriously. They're good fun.
Yeah. Hell yeah. And one of my favorites on here, man. Ooh, so heavy. Jizzlobber. Absolutely love this song. One of the heaviest 50 more songs you're gonna get. Mike Patton's vocals, during the chorus is so raw. Love that shit. Smiles, bruises. Mike Gordon's drums are punishing on here. I love how fucking bone-crushingly heavy this song is, man. Jim Martin's guitar playing around the 3:40-minute mark. So good. This is a metal song, flat out, just straight the fuck up. I love Roddy's keyboards on here as well, playing at the end. Incredible. I love Jizzlobber, yo. This shit's hard.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite tracks in the album. This was, I think, the only song on the album that Jim Martin really wrote, because I think he has a couple of other credits here and there, but this is like his kind of main contribution to the album. And you can tell, like, it's very guitar-focused song. But like, extremely dark, probably the darkest song on the album, I would say. Love this sort of haunting ding, 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 all the way through it,
Oh, so
on the
fucking.
keyboards. Yeah, from Roddy. Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, you got some like crushing guitar work on here, hard hitting drums from Mike Borden, like incredible stuff. And I never truly worked out what this song is about. I've heard people, a couple
I
different
tried. I couldn't find nothing.
it's one of those ones. It's like I've seen different theories online. Some people say it's like about a porn star, with that line saying, "I'm willing to make love the concrete." You know what I mean? It's like it's sort of, just crazy lyrics on here. But yeah, very dark, very twisted. And I love the end, how it ends. You've got that, amazing kind of guitar part, and Mike Patton just saying, "I am what I've done. I'm sorry." Like, oh, it's amazing outro. It's my favorite part of the song. But yeah, I just love all this sort of different, it's definitely got like a lot of different kind of distinct parts all the way through this track. And yeah, they're all amazing, just really kind of crushing, heavy, dark, all these, not 100% sure about the lyrics, what they mean, but I like what they're saying. Matches really well about, with the overall kind of feel of the track. And yeah, definitely one of my favorites. I think it's incredible. And at the very end, it's actually quite kind of mellow and soft, isn't it? Like, you got this kind of, kind of big kind of like metal explosion. And then, at the end, it sort of soothes and sort of calms you down at the very end. And, if the album ended there, I'd be happy enough with that. But, we do have, one more track, which kind of seals the deal. Is kind of like a, exclamation mark on the end of the album for sure.
Yeah, brother. I'll be happy with that too. But we get Midnight Cowboy to end it off. Great instrumentation on here. It's instrumental. There's a 1969 movie of the same name,
Yeah, that's what the music is from. Yeah, it's a cover.
Yeah. Great instrumentation from the band on here. One of the most tight bands I ever heard. Amazing way to end the album, like on a American Crisis. But we are gonna cover Easing in a minute.
Yeah, I mean, I think Midnight Cowboy is a really cool way to end off the album. I would never listen to it on its own, but I think it's just a really nice way to like end things off and sort of make you think, wow, what if I just listened to? Like, it's just such a journey, and I like that. Like, yeah, perfectly. It's just a perfect way to end off, like, kind of nice, chill way to end off the album. And the fact that it's like a cover of this kind of old track just makes it even more sort of interesting. It's like, that's a really interesting choice. I would never, up to this point, you would never think that they would cover something like that. But yeah, cool track, great way to end off the album.
Oh yeah. Let me get easy. I grew up listening to the Commodore's version because my grandmoms, they play that all the time. And when I heard Faith No More do it, I thought they fucking slayed it. I love the original song and I love their version of it. They did a fantastic job. Mike Patton's vocals in here are amazing. It's so fucking good. Like the beginning though. This one's for the ladies in the house.
Yeah, there's a version of it that doesn't have that as well.
Oh really? Is it
because
version?
Well, the version that I had on the Platinum Collection didn't have it, and then the version that I have on Angel Dust does have that. So yeah, there's slightly different versions of it. It's not massively different.
Fucking love this song.
Yeah, it's a fantastic cover. I really like the Commodore's original.
Likewise.
The Faith No More version is fantastic. Even Lionel Richie himself said it was brilliant. So yeah,
fucking awesome.
Mike Patton's vocals are awesome in this track. I love the sort of it's not hugely different. They play it very straight, but I like that about it. They're not trying to change it and sort of make it their own. It's like, no, we're just going to do it straight up. And it's really, really good. And it is missing a verse. I know that much. I think it's just like
they omit it.
They leave out a verse, but pretty cool video as well. They're hanging out with like the the cross dressers in the video. Pretty cool. And then you got some live footage on there as well. There's a clip that you see very briefly. I think it's Mike Patton drinking piss out of a boot. I think that's in the video, if I remember correctly. Yeah, pretty wild. It's awesome cover, and of course it would be one of their biggest selling songs ever. Amazing.
Absolutely incredible, man. Faith No More Angel Dust turns 30 years last week. A masterpiece. I enjoyed like preparing for this episode. Shout out to Faith No More followers Facebook group. They showed me a lot of love when I posted my CDs of this masterpiece, the deluxe and the OG. Just watching all the old fucking interviews on YouTube and that amazing Faith No More documentary, the Angel Dust documentary when they recording the record was fun to watch too. I could do every album, man. We give it the rating and top 3 songs. So this is 5 mics easily. No disputing that at all. Mike Patton had something to prove. Real Thing was big. He didn't write for that record, but he wrote for this one and came into his own. And incredible, man. So top 3 songs for me is A Small Victory. And I'm doing this off the cuff just because it's kind of hard because I love every song on this fucking album damn near. So you get A Small Victory number 1 easily. Number 2, Everything's Ruined. And number 3, it's going to be a battle between, Jizz Lobber and Malpractice because they're so fucking heavy. You know what I'm saying? It's like I love them both, but I would have to go with probably Jizz Lobber because that fucking riff. So yeah, Small Victory, Everything's Ruined, Jizz Lobber, top 3 songs. Angel Dust, one of the greatest albums of all time. I think it's just as good as like their peers, their contemporaries back then. Like it's just as good as any Alice in Chains record, any Nirvana record, whatever the fuck was out that time. Pantera. I worship this album so much. It's incredible. So yeah.
It's also one of the most influential albums of all time.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately, they influenced a lot of bad stuff, but still influential nevertheless.
I know you're not a Korn fan, but Monkey posted this.
Like they were definitely like big fans of Faith No More, and like I think they even said like, oh, we called our chord the bungle chord and stuff like that. They love all that stuff. I mean, this is easy 5 mics for me as well. Absolutely adore this album. It's my favorite Faith No More album.
Same.
It's one of my favorite albums of all time. It's probably in my top 5 ever. It's absolutely amazing. Everything about it, everything from The Land of Sunshine to Midnight Cowboy or Easy. The album is, takes you on a journey. There's so many twists and turns. There's some really nice stuff. There's some kind of nice elements on here, whether it's nice music and songs like RV or Kindergarten, or some like lovely melodies from Mike Patton, but then again you've got these kind of big heavy parts and heavy songs on here like Caffeine, Malpractice, Smaller and Smaller, Jizz Lobber, and the album is just so great. There's so much variety on here. It's such a big departure from their previous album, The Real Thing, but like they absolutely nailed it. I think this album's way better than The Real Thing. No disrespect to The Real Thing, but yeah, they just totally stepped their game up on this. Like you said, Mike Patton, he came in on The Real Thing really late. He wrote the lyrics in like 2 weeks and that was it, but he didn't have any input on the music. You can definitely hear his influence on the album a lot more. He wrote Malpractice himself, and like, all the other guys in the album, stepped up their game. Even Jim Martin, maybe he wasn't as involved, but like all of his guitar playing is fantastic on here. And like obviously the tensions were there in the band, but like the final result is incredible. I mean, real kind of moody music, heavy, but at the same time beautiful, which is perfect. Goes with the album cover, with the bird on the front and the meat on the back, and then the name of the album as well. It's like, it's the perfect for all that stuff. It really is. It's an absolute masterpiece. And I mean, my top 3 songs would be Midlife Crisis, probably Malpractice, and Jizz Lobber, honestly. Fantastic. But I absolutely love the whole album. It's absolutely amazing. And it's so good. I could talk about it forever. Do you want to talk, quickly mention like a few of the like B-sides and stuff like that?
Absolutely.
So The World Is Yours. Do you want to talk about that first? That was the as they were working on this song, they played it live a few times, like I mentioned in '91 when they were in Japan, I believe, and Brazil. That song has a lot of samples in it, hence why it was called the sample song. There's even a part in it where they play a sample, of Bud Dwyer's Suicide, when he shot himself on live TV. They play that.
Oh, yeah, like 87?
Yeah, late 80s, yeah.
That is wild, son. Shit's leaking out that nigga like a faucet.
Yeah, they used to have that on YouTube. I don't know if it's up anymore, but I remember seeing it before. It was pretty crazy. Yeah, I mean, apparently Mike Patton and Billy Gould, I think they were like strangely like obsessed over that, for like the footage of it, and they sampled it in the song. I think that song's fine. It's not. I think they did the right choice by not putting it on there. It's a little bit slow, kind of. I don't know. It's not bad. I definitely like it, but it's not on the level as a lot of the other stuff on the actual album. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I can definitely agree with that one.
Yeah, and then some other stuff they did. They did a Dead Kennedys cover of "Let's Lynch the Landlord." It's quite good fun.
That's also on the deluxe that I got too.
Yeah. All the deluxe has like a bunch of stuff that they recorded for Angel Dust. I think they recorded like 17, 18 songs or something like that, and obviously not all of them made the album. But yeah, they did that. That's pretty good. And they also did As the Worm Turns. Mike Patton version. That was an old song with Chuck Mosley, and the fact that they got like a studio version with Mike Patton. That's really cool because I think that's one of the few times that's happened. I'm not sure if that's ever happened any other time, like a studio version of an old song with Mike Patton. So that's really cool. There's might be something else. I can't remember. Oh, Das Schussen Fest. That's that crazy kind of like polka kind of track.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. It's just a bit of fun. They're probably just messing around on that one. But yeah. Just thought I'd quickly mention those songs for sure.
Oh yeah. Angel Dust means the world to us, man. So glad we did this.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Hell yeah. Maybe one time we'll do King for a Day, Food for a Lifetime, Real Thing.
Yeah, that's my second favorite King for a Day.
Yeah, likewise, same. That Mr. Bungle first album too, I fucking love. I listened to the Girls Upon the other day. That's my joint. Yeah.
Yeah, I love those three Warner Brothers albums. Yeah, amazing.
So yeah, man. So if no more Angel Dust, happy 30 years to this absolute masterpiece. We're gonna get out of here now. Chat's kind of dead. We know why, but it's all good.
Yeah.
So, Faith No More Angel Dust, man. Classic.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man. See you motherfuckers next week, y'all. Peace.
Yeah, have a good one, y'all.
Have a good one.